Hi, my name is Rachel Bailey, and I'm going to be conducting a 24-hour recall with you. What is your name?
Sean Dawson.
And how old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
And then how tall are you?
I am 6'4".
And then how much do you weigh?
I weigh 185 pounds.
All right. So now I'm going to explain all the different steps that we will be taking throughout this recall. There are 5 steps to this multiple pass method that I will be using today. The first step is using a quick list, which I will have you quickly list all the foods and beverages you had consumed in the past 24 hours without details. The second step is going to be any forgotten foods. I will try and prompt you to recall the foods and drinks you may have forgotten on the first list. The third step is going to be time and occasion, which I will need you to tell me the time each food and drink was consumed, either during breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a snack. The fourth step is the detailed cycle, where you tell me every detailed explanation of the foods and drinks, how you prepared it, how much you consumed, and then I will need you to include anything extra like sauces, dressings, and seasonings. And then the last step is the final probe, where I will be asking open-ended questions to make sure no foods or drinks were left out. Do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions now.
Okay. So, first thing is list all the foods and drinks that you have consumed in the past 24 hours.
So in the past 24 hours, for what I had to drink, all I remember is having some water. Food-wise, all I do remember having at the moment are a burger, some cheese curds, and I also had some wings as well.
Is that it?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, now that we have gone over the list, are there any foods you think you may have forgotten or drinks you may have forgotten?
Actually, yes. So I forgot with the wings, I did have some onion rings as well. And I did eat some eggs for breakfast in the morning of.
Okay, anything else you think you might have forgotten?
No.
Okay. So, now we will go over the time that you consumed each of these items and then where you consumed them. So, for the first one, the water, what time did you consume water?
I would say when I first consumed it, right when I woke up at about 8:30, 9 a.m.
Okay, and then where did this take place?
I was in my apartment, in my room.
Okay, and then for the burger, what time did you eat the burger?
I would say I ate that burger around 4:30 p.m.
Okay, and then where did you have this burger?
I was actually at a friend's house when I ate the burger.
Okay, and then cheese curds. What time did you have the cheese curds?
The same time as the burger, so around 4:30.
And then where did you have the cheese curds?
I was still at that same friend's house.
Okay. And then what time did you have the wings and the onion rings?
I would say I had those around 9:30 p.m.
And then where did you have them?
I was in my apartment in my living room.
All right. And then what time did you have the eggs?
I would say I had the eggs around 10:30 in the morning.
And then the place that you had the eggs.
I was in my apartment when I had the eggs.
Alright. Now, before we move on, the ones that you had at your house, were you sitting in front of a TV? Were you on your phone? Were you doing anything while eating?
So for the water, I was on my phone. And for the dinner, which was the wings and onion rings I had later on that night, I was in front of my TV in my living room.
Okay. And then were you doing anything when you were at your friend's place while eating?
No. I was just sitting there talking to my friends.
And then for the eggs in the morning, were you just eating? Were you watching? What were you doing?
I was in front of my TV in the living room while I was eating my eggs.
Okay. Alright, so now to the next. Now we will move on to the detailed cycle. What type of food was it? How much did you consume? And how was it prepared? So for the first one, water. Was it like bottled water? Was it a cup of water? What kind of water did you have?
It was a bottled water from Publix actually that I just had sitting next on my nightstand.
Okay. And then for the burger, what type of food was it? What was the burger? So how much did you consume of the burger?
I just had a single regular burger and I pretty much ate all of it.
And then what all was on the burger?
What all was on the burger? I believe that there were some tomatoes, bacon, lettuce, and pickles on the burger.
And you said you ate all of the burger, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then for the cheese curds, how much did you consume?
So for the cheese curds, I did consume all of the cheese curds, and it did come in like a little box. So I would say it was about maybe a cup of cheese curds, if anything.
Okay. And then I forgot to ask you, how was the burger and the cheese curds prepared?
So the cheese curds were, I'm pretty sure they were fried, and the burger, of course, was just made on whatever grill that they had in the restaurant.
Okay. And then for the wings and onion rings, same question. How much did you consume? And then how were they prepared?
So for the onion rings, I only had maybe about 3 or 4 of them, and those were fried. And for the wings, I believe that I ate all of them, which it did come with 10. So yeah, it had 10 wings in the packaging that it came in, and I did eat all of those.
Alright. And then last one was the eggs. How much did you consume? And then how was it prepared?
I believe, if I do remember correctly, I had around 4 eggs, and I scrambled them.
And did you have scrambled eggs with cheese, or were they just plain eggs?
I actually had scrambled eggs with cheese, yes.
Okay. Alright. Now, when you consumed the water, was it more than usual, less than usual, or about the same?
For the timing, I would say a little bit more than usual that I consumed when I first wake up in the morning.
And then the same thing for the burger. Was it less than normal or more?
For the burger, it was around the same as what I would consume if I got a burger from anywhere else or if I made a burger at home.
And then the cheese curd, you said you consume all of it. Is that normal, more, or less?
For the cheese curds, I would say it was more than what I would normally consume.
And then for the wings and onion rings, was it more, the same, or less?
So for the onion rings, I would say it was a little bit less than what I would normally consume. But on the flip side, for the wings, I would say it was a little bit more as well that I would consume.
Alright, and then the last one is eggs. Was it the same, more, or less?
For the eggs, I would say it would be a little bit less than what I would normally would consume if I was to make them again in the morning.
Alright, and then last one for this question, or last two questions, sorry. Did you use any salt, and if you did, how much?
I can say I did use some salt, but not a lot. I would say maybe just a pinch of salt, if anything.
And would you say that's for all of the foods, or just certain foods that you put salt in?
I would say just for certain foods, such as the eggs and the wings.
And then last question, are you currently on a diet to lose weight, or are you eating normal?
I would say at the time being, I'm just eating normally. I'm not on any diet of any kind at the moment.
Alright, and then now for the last step and our final step is the probe. So, were there any other snacks between each of these meals?
Yes, there was.
Okay, and then what was it?
So, I know between the burger and pretty much breakfast, I did have a little lettuce wrap in there as well as a snack.
Alright, and what all was in the lettuce wrap?
So what all was in it, if I can remember, I believe in the lettuce wrap there was just some rice and some shrimp.
And then what time did you consume that?
I would say I consumed it maybe around 12:30 p.m.
Alright, and then where did you consume it?
Again, I was at a friend's house when I consumed it.
Okay, and then with a little bit more description of the rice and shrimp, how was it prepared?
So for the rice, it was just prepared in pretty much like a crock pot or a rice cooker. I'm sorry. It was prepared in a rice cooker. And for the shrimp, it was prepared just in just like a cast iron pan, just grilled.
And then how much of the rice and shrimp did you consume?
I would say maybe about a cup or so of rice, and then as well as a cup or so of shrimp.
Okay, and is there anything else that you might have eaten between the meals?
I also had some some applesauce as well.
And the same questions. What time did you have the applesauce?
Around 6:30
PM or AM?
p.m. I'm sorry.
And then where did you have it?
I was at home when I had it.
Alright. And then just a description of the applesauce. What kind was it?
It was one of the Go-Go squeezable applesauces that come in like those pouch thingies.
Sorry. Okay. And then did you have any like late night snacks that you can remember?
Again, I did have another one of those applesauces late at night. Yes.
Okay. And then do you remember the time that you had the applesauce at night?
It was around 11 p.m.
Okay. And then was this at your home as well?
Yes.
And then was it the exact same like Go-Go squeeze you mentioned before?
No, it was actually one of the cup applesauces this time.
Okay. And then was there anything else you drank besides just water?
I also had some Minute Maid lemonade and a can of Arizona tea.
Okay. And then what time did you consume both of those drinks?
So the Minute Maid lemonade, I had during lunch, so with the burger and onion rings, so that was around 4:30. And the Arizona I consumed with my dinner, which was at 9:30 p.m.
And then where did you consume both of those drinks?
The first one, the Minute Maid, I had at my friend's house, and then the Arizona tea I had at home.
Alright. And then just a little description. How was the Minute Maid lemonade made? What all was put into it?
I don't know exactly all the vitamins or anything that was in it per se. I just know it was just a lot of mixture of juices from fruits and a lot of sugar.
And then how much of it did you consume?
I had one like gas station bottle about this big of it.
Okay. And then same thing for the Arizona. How much of that did you have this one?
I still had a can about this big from the gas station.
Alright. And then, did you or do you take any vitamins or supplements throughout the day?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and then what supplements or vitamins did you take?
I had some vitamin C gummies that I take every day.
Alright, and then what time did you take the gummies?
When I woke up at around 9:30 a.m.